Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Some football on the cards at the moment. Hope you've been watching and enjoying. We have got Leicester coming up later. Ideally, I wouldn't have minded doing this after the Leicester game, but that would have been too late for me to get into town. Do you know what? I know we all like ball-busting Cam, but it would have been too late for him on a school night, wouldn't it? So we've decided to do it at tea time on a Sunday. So hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Had a semi-relaxing day yesterday. Not fully relaxing. It was all right. Had a Chinese and a rum. You know how it goes. Right, shall we look at how it's going to go off tomorrow night then against Southampton? If Leicester bottle this tonight, United can go third. Like, not with we got games in hand on them and we can just go third. Equal amount of games played. Still got them to play, but third. The problem is Bournemouth are well shit. And I don't feel like Leicester, even though they're in horrendous form, are that bad. Because, sorry, I just noticed how that was all like that. That's better, isn't it? Right. Bournemouth are bad. Leicester are bad. I don't think Leicester are bad enough for Bournemouth to take points off them. Hopefully we've just jinxed that. Sweet. Right then, so here's what Ollie's been talking about on the unbeaten run. He says, well, Manchester United have always been about winning. Of course, it is because you want to win trophies, but it's also about our fans, the way we want to approach the game. The way we approach football, you play with pace, you play with power, you play with no fear, you take risks, and you've got players who've got qualities. That's just the DNA of this football club. Right, I'm going to read that again, because I don't think you cunts was listening then, right? This is the time you want to maybe start touching your tail. You ready? Manchester United have always been about winning. Of course, it's because we want to win trophies, but it's also about our fans and the way we approach the game. The way we approach football, the way you play with pace, the way you play with power, the way you play with no fear. You take risks, and you've got players who've got qualities. That's just the DNA of our football club. Fucking what? Right. Jose Mourinho, 7 rules of the game. Let me read these to you. 1. The game is won by the team who commits the fewest errors. 2. Football favours whoever provokes more errors in the opposition. Away from home, instead of trying to be superior, it's better to encourage their mistakes. Whoever has the ball is likely to make a mistake. Whoever renounces possession reduces the possibility of mistake. Whoever has the ball has fear. Whoever does not have it is thereby stronger. Right, I'm going to read that again for the third fucking time. You play with pace, you play with power, you play with no fear, you take risks. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right fucking man for this football club based on that fucking thing alone. He understands who the fuck we are. I never really got Jose's thing about playing with fear. One thing about this football club, one thing from the players that I've spoken to that worked under Sir Alex was he was always about risk. You have to take risks. You have to take a chance to make a chance. That was what Sir Alex was all about. I fucking love. I don't think enough people have picked up on every single. It's easy to talk, fair play, but I don't think enough people have really picked up upon on that. That Ollie talking about the DNA of our football club. He's not just talking about it. He's out there fucking proving it to everybody. Absolutely mega. Love it. Right. Maybe he's hinting at no changes, though. He carried on and he says, there's so many things you have to consider when you manage a team. Of course, there's a squad. We've got players that are chomping at the bit. They want to play, and you've got players who are in a rhythm and keep on playing well. So if you don't get too many injuries, there's no reason to change too much when you're doing well. I do think that means, yeah, I'm fucking changing 8 players. After last week where he sort of said, expect changes. Now we're looking at, here we go. On Greenwood, he says, we know what he's capable of, and we always trusted him to be a part of this squad and chip in with performances or goals. Of course, we see it every day. I've seen it since I came to the club 18 months ago. He's just a natural footballer, and when you put natural good footballers with better footballers he's used to playing with, he'll just create and give him more opportunities to show his qualities. Top. Danny Ings could be dangerous, says Ben in the comments. I agree. GWS has written apologies time. Oh, yeah. We're getting ready for them. We want written apologies, or you can go fuck yourself. Team news. It's every single one of the previews since restart. We've said the following. Phil Jones and Tuan Zabi are injured. And then we go, what's up with them? Well, I do know what's up with them. Well, at least what's up with Phil Jones. Here's a world exclusive for you that no one gives a fuck about. Which is a bit depressing, isn't it? but I just spoke to our good friend Laurie Whittle at The Athletic, who's off out on the piss. Saw him about half an hour ago, just walking down the street, and he's told us Phil Jones had a knee operation, which is why Phil Jones is out. But there you go, world exclusive. You're going to see that in Ornstein's column tomorrow from Laurie. So you guys have got a nice cheeky little one first there. But at the end of the day, no one cares, so fuck it. I don't know what's up with Axel. Maybe we'll find out next week. We could potentially see changes, though. Like I said last week, he's had the same team for 4 games. There's no fucking way he gets all the way through to next weekend with 7 games with an unchanged team. Not a prayer is that going to happen. Not a prayer. So I do think there will be some changes at some point, but maybe not tomorrow. Southampton are missing some very notable names, though. Boufal, Valery, and Dienepo, all expected to be absent. Vestergaard faces a late fitness test, but Hasenhüttl reckons he is going to recover from his thigh problem. In the past meetings, United have won 2 of the last 6 Premier League home meetings with Southampton, losing 2 and drawing 2, and we've failed to score in 3 of them. Not good. United are unbeaten in 8, though. 4 of the last 6 Premier League meetings have ended in draws. Overall record, as usual, as you'd expect, United got 52% of wins, 22% draws, and 26%, sorry, the other way around, 22% to Southampton, and 26% have been draws. Hasenhüttl has not defeated Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in 2 attempts. Solskjaer managed a 3-2 at Old Trafford last season before the 1-1 draw at St Mary's earlier this season. It's another one that we need to turn around, and I'm fairly confident we do. United are unbeaten in 17, 13 wins, 4 draws, 18 games will be the longest run since Sir Alex Ferguson's final season. Did you hear me? 18 games will be the longest run since Sir Alex's last season. The records are going. The records are slowly going. And it's good records this time as well. Not the first time we've lost to this guy, that guy, and that guy in a season since 1940-something. Since losing at Burnley at Old Trafford in January, United have won 5 and drawn 1 of the 6 games that have followed, scoring 18 and conceding 2. That's elite. Last 3 Premier League results: 3-0 against Villa, 5-2 against Bournemouth, and 3-0 against Brighton. Southampton have had a complete turnaround in form since the restart. They've definitely avoided relegation. They've won 3 and lost just 1 of their 5 coming back so far. And they have looked impressive on the road since they've restarted, collecting 7 out of 9 points, scoring 7 and conceding just twice. So they're way more of a threat than you think that they might be. They beat City. All right, it was scrappy, arguably a stupid mistake from Ederson, but they beat them. They beat Watford 3-1 and they drew with Everton. I don't know if it's a lot to read into, but I think they're going to... You might see a start similar to Bournemouth, similar to Aston Villa, where we're under threat a little bit at the start of the game, but I have the confidence that this United team will overcome. And much like in those games, a little bit of a start, a little bit of a fright, and fucking winning by half-time. Sweet. So let's have a look at Southampton then. Strong form following the restart has seen them rise up to 12th in the league, 5 points off being in the top half. Hasenhüttl loves the 4-4-2. He's used it 21 times in the Premier League this season. Loves pace on the wings with Armstrong and Nathan Redmond. I think Redmond's a slight bit underrated as a footballer. I think he's very tricky. I do like him. I think he's a threat. Main attacking outlet, Danny Ings. As much as we want to take the piss out of the guy, he is a good striker, and he's found the net quite a lot this season. Against United last time out, Southampton looked to expose United weakness down the right-hand side with Ashley Young, remember him, in defence, and they did that to good effect. They scored the late equaliser from a cross in that area. They could look to do the same in this one, so Luke Shaw is going to have to continue the decent form we've seen from him, which has improved as we've come out of lockdown, but this might be the first proper defensive test that we've really had to see him performing. So I would not be surprised if he went with Brandon against this one, just for the threat that they might pose, and also a slight bit of rotation. Strengths for Southampton: chance creation. They're creating good chances on average, 8.9 chances and 12.9 shots per game this season. They're a threat from set pieces, and United have struggled to defend set pieces from crosses this season. Southampton have got a mix of height, decent finishing inside the box. They've scored from 10 set pieces this season. Ings, James Ward-Prowse can also bang in a free kick. United have just got to avoid conceding clumsy fouls around the box, because we do like doing that, weirdly. Weaknesses, they're not very good at keeping possession. They've really struggled to keep the ball. That, I think, is one of the negative effects of a 4-4-2 formation. Because it's so square, because the way the 4-4-2 system sets up, especially the way Howson sets it up, they're not having a lot of players in between the lines. The way United play their 4-3-3, it's almost a zigzag of a midfield. There's players on different lines, in different channels, and it gives you the options to be able to move the ball up through the thirds. The 4-4-2, if it's got a weakness, it's that it's quite predictable in terms of how and where you're going to play it. There's not enough offset. There's not enough places in between the lines that you can get people onto the ball. And that's been shown in how they've struggled in keeping possession. Their pass accuracy also has been shite at 72%. It's the second lowest in the Premier League. United's pressure style could really come in good effect and force them into some more errors. You force an error into them in the final third. We have got the pace and accuracy with Rashford, Martial and Mason Greenwood to force them into some errors. Defending a pace down the wings, Howson side really don't like defending pace anyway. Only Arsenal have received more red cards than Southampton this season, and 3 of the 4 handed to defenders have been a result of being caught out whilst attacking the last line of defence. Very much something that United can get to them with, very much something that United should look to pressure them with, and very much a way that I expect United are probably going to score a goal from. Key player for them is going to be Danny Ings. Obviously, it's his best individual Premier League campaign by some distance. 19 goals. Can't write the guy off. He's only 3 goals behind Jamie Vardy in the race for the Golden Boot. Probably going to miss out. I think Vardy's probably got it sewn up, and he could become the first player in the bottom half of the Premier League to score 20 goals since Ben Tekers did it in the 2013 season at Aston Villa. One of the most impressive features of Ings' game this season has seen him like almost Wayne Rooney sort of style, tracking back and just tear-arting after the ball everywhere. But again, because of the 4-4-2 system, if he vacates that area, they've struggled to have someone that they can get it up to, and certainly someone that's as capable as Danny Ings when they do that. So sometimes it's a gift having a player that's willing to put a shift in like that for the entire team, like it was with Wayne Rooney. Sometimes it's a fucking nightmare, because when you win the ball and you want to look up to your centre forward, you're like, oh, he's just made a tackle at left back. Fuck's sake. Righty then. He also likes to pull off on one of the centre-halves, stop laughing at the back, and play the ball out wide, and look for a bit of a 1-2. I think you can probably expose Maguire a little bit with that, but hopefully United are on it. If the gaps are big enough in between the outside, between the centre-halves and the full-backs, that's somewhere that I would expect them to look to try and exploit. That's where he's going to look to be getting off shots. He's quicker than Maguire, and I think Lindelof deals with that. In the air, Lindelof struggles. On the floor, I think it's Maguire that could be targeted by Southampton. For United, player to watch, Mason Greenwood. Are you fucking kidding me? I want everything for this kid to get 20 goals this season, because that's going to be amazing if he does. It says 41 appearances, but he's had like 10 starts at right wing. He's just come off the bench at right load. He's fucking unbelievable. Dynamite. United had a team to watch. All eyes are on Mason Greenwood, as he's definitely the best goal-scoring teenager in United history. He's going to level that without a shadow of a doubt. Hopes were high for Greenwood at the start of the season, but you'd have been told you are smoking every flavour of crack available if you thought he was going to get 16 or more goals this season. He only needs one to match a player called George Best. He was good, wasn't he? Brian Kidd and Wayne Rooney are also to match their record as teenagers. Southampton's weakness of defending pace on the wings could definitely favour Mason Greenwood, and he's just untouchable at the moment, and you know he's shooting, so he is my player to watch. I am very sure he's going to get onto the score sheet this Monday night coming. Let's have a look at my starting 11. It's unchanged. Of course it's fucking unchanged. Do we really need to go through it? I don't think we need to go through it, do we? I think this team, Solskjaer might just play this until the wheels fall off. And that could happen, to be honest. Definitely have concerns over Matic. We saw Jose Mourinho run him into the ground. He's got his new deal, which keeps him here till he's about 704. But he is fallible, and he is someone that could crumble at any moment. We've seen it before. So I would like to use him sparingly. But I don't really expect too many changes, and I expect United to go out and absolutely fucking wallop them. They've been in decent form, but United have been in decenter form. So I would like to see United absolutely go for it. Got to come to the Patreon massive now and see what you lot are saying in terms of questiones. Greenwood is gravy says, how do we stop Ings when our backline hasn't been as good post-Project Restart? I mean, I don't know if that's fair, Look how many clean sheets we've had. We've had a lot of clean sheets since Project Restart's happened. What you've got to do with Ings is, this is where Matic's experience is going to come in. You know what Ings is going to do. You know he's going to try and do a 1-2 and then look to get in behind on the space. You either have to block the cross or you have to make sure that you're super touch tight and anticipate what he's going to do. I hate to say it, but Van Dijk's been excellent at predicting that sort of run and getting an interception in and then moving on it. Or you've just got to hope that Ings, because United are probably going to pass them to death a little bit. I expect United to have unbelievable amount of possession in this game. You've got to hope that Ings just gets well frustrated and he just chases every single thing down. And if he's chasing every single thing down, he's not going to be in the right positions to counter. But make no mistake, he is a fucking threat. And if anyone's going to score for Southampton, it's definitely Ings. Anyone I'd take from Saints to strengthen our team, I don't mind Ward-Prowse. I think he's a good player. One question I'd like answered. Mentioned Marcus was carrying an ankle knock at the tail end of last season after the Henderson tackle. With him being out with his back, was the opportunity taken to correct his ankle problem, or has that stuff troubled him still? I believe he's fully fit, but I don't know if he did specific physio on his ankle. I can find out. Shirt numbers probably don't mean much, but wouldn't it be brilliant to see Mason get the 11? Yeah, I don't really care. It doesn't really get me excited to see who's in what number, to be honest. Southampton are 27 points away from home, the fourth most of any Premier League side after Liverpool, Chelsea and City. Just how tricky could this be for us? It will be tricky. I still think United's confidence is fragile. I think that we're celebrating wins hard, but everyone's going, as we step forward, every single step we go, is this the game that we lose? 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 We're going to lose eventually. This team's far from being very good. Far from being very good. It's decent at the moment and it's playing well. But it's not infallible. So I think I can't see them beating us. Definitely tag me when you clip me up. I can't see them beating us, but I can see United fucking this up and getting a draw. And if we rotate, I definitely can see us fucking up. Because the 11's good. What comes off the bench isn't good. Akash said, 7 years of trauma. That's what it is, mate, yeah. Because under Fergie, I'd have been like, we're going to win. Oh, yeah, we're winning. Yeah, not a problem. 7 years of trauma. You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it is. I've been hurt before for the last 7 years. Next 4 games so close to each other. Do you think it'd be best to rest players versus Southampton as they're a side with least to play for out of the 4? I don't really believe in the least to play for thing. In fact, about 5 years ago, I did my own sort of study into how many points per game teams get, and the teams with nothing to play for in mid-table actually average more points than they do the rest of the season. Relegation teams are exactly the same. Whatever they've averaged across the season is what they average in their last 6 games. And actually, the top 4 teams are the ones that average less. Now, I didn't go into the specifics and look, was that because championships have been won and feet have come off the gas? But over the last, I think it was like 23 years of the Premier League, the top 4 averaged a point something less points than they did over the course of the season. The bottom 4 was the same, but the middle averaged slightly higher. So that whole nothing to play for thing, it doesn't. There's no fact in it. What's the maximum number of players we think we could rest from the 11 and still beat Southampton? I think you could probably rest 3. Not 8, like we saw at Norwich, where it's just mental. But I think like 3 would be fine. Do you think with there being no fans since the restart, the pressure has been slightly lifted and pure talent is on show? That is why we're thumping teams as opposed to just nicking a late one. I would say yes, but we also saw from the introduction of Bruno into the team, the confidence had been lifted anyway, and we was already sort of doing some of this. And then we've just brought back Marcus Rashford and Paul Pogba, and that's likely why we're having it. The Truth Seeker says Southampton are our bogey team. You're right. Everyone has one. Who would I take out of the team from the Villa game? I wouldn't take anybody out necessarily, but I would certainly look to rest a few people. I would like to see either Fred or McTominay brought in, Brandon brought in. Like, there's certainly ways to do it. After the second string showing they're not good enough against Norwich, do I see Ollie rotating with fewer changes? He's got to rotate. I was chatting to Laurie outside before. He thinks he'll just roll with it right the way through the season. And I was like, that's fucking nuts. But what do I know? We'll find out, won't we? I thought he'd have rotated already, but if he's happy and they're winning, then fuck it. How should we balance new signings and promoting youth? Everyone was critical when we didn't replace Lukaku, but it helped Mason. Did it help Mason, though? Because Mason's only really played on the right. And the games that he might have played on the middle, like since January at least, Igalo's been in there. No, the cream rises. Look who's been signed while Marcus Rashford was here. Tony Marshall was signed while Marcus Rashford was at the club. Zlatan, Lukaku, Sanchez. All of these players have been signed while Marcus is at the club. The cream can rise. As long as it's been given an opportunity, it can rise. No one's going to just ignore Greenwood now. Once they've got like 30, 40 games under their belt, they've been given their opportunity and you'll see what they're about. It's getting that first 10, 15 games under your belt that teams struggle with. If we win 3-0 for a fifth time in a row, does it automatically crown us Premier League champions? Yeah, fuck it. I mean, the way Liverpool were going on, like, United have never done that, therefore we're well better than they ever was. Yeah, if that's the rules that they want to play by, then yeah, no other team's done what we've done, so clearly we're the best ever. Have I seen Arsenal fans... do I think Maguire is the one player we can't afford to rest? Yeah, I do. I think you could rest Bruno or Pogba so long as the other one played. I think without Maguire, yeah, probably in the shit. Have I seen Arsenal fans saying Saka is better than Greenwood? What have I told you about listening to Arsenal fans? They wouldn't know a world-class player if he was smacking them in the dick with his face. Or in the face with his dick. Or either or, actually. Arsenal fans are just fucking clueless. Don't talk to Arsenal fans. You'll come away dumber. Could we play a midfielder, Pogba, Matic and Fred to keep Bruno fresh? Yeah, I think we could. That'd be fine. How many more convincing wins before I'm allowed to start singing Ollies at the wheel again? Do it now, mate. Crack on. We've got Fernandes, Paul Pogba and Fred. It works. Full disclosure, I've been singing it since January, and I'm not sorry. Is this our toughest test post-restart? Yeah, it could be. It very much could be, yeah. I think Sunday represents a big test for us. Yeah, definitely. Is Niguez an upgrade on Matic in his current form? In current form, probably not. But this form will not last forever. It really won't. And I think Saul is... I mean, if you have... Even if you've still got Matic at the club, if you've got Saul, Pogba and Bruno as your midfield three, I put that midfield three against anybody in the world. And then the backup to that midfield is Matic or McTominay, Fred and someone like Grealish or Van der Beek. Yeah. Mint. Do I think he'll play an unchanged 11? One or two changes, I think, but I've gone with the same 11 just because it seems to be what he's doing. I think this would potentially be the one game that we drop points. Do we agree? I do a little bit, yeah, sadly. Considering the speed from the likes of Ings, Redmond and Long on the counter, would you play Fred or McTominay in the DM instead of Matic to deal with it? That might be a good point, and that might be something that they've considered. Certainly McTominay would be good for the physicality to cut across. I just don't see them stretching us. They're shit on the ball. I mean, they're a threat from set pieces, and they are a threat direct. But in terms of they're probably not going to come through the middle of us, to be honest. They're very much going to look to try and counter us. Ethan Laird versus Lask. Yep, I would definitely say something like that, I reckon. Yeah, look, do us a favour. Like the video if you think we're going to win. Dislike the video if you think this is the one that we drop points against this weekend. Or Monday. I talked about rotating the squad. Do I think Ollie's trying to finish the games by 67 minutes and rest his key players and rotate the squad? How good is it that we can even think that that's what's happening? Because we're 3 goals to the good by that time in the game. It's mega, innit? Yeah. Do you reckon Ori could play the first team until the end of the domestic season to get 3rd or 4th and then just play the second string in Europa? It's interesting to see that there's only 3 weeks from Europa final to the start of next season, so I wonder if it'd almost split the squad in 2. I do wonder why the likes of Timbo, Laird, Mengi, Gunnar have all been brought into the squad. I think they'll definitely play against Lask. After that, you're talking quarters, semis and a final. I think your first team would be fit enough to roll through that. No one feels tired when you're winning. You only feel tired when you're losing. Or you struggle. When you're winning, you just get carried through it. If United go through, finish 3rd, win the FA Cup, and then have to start a Europa League campaign, which is like 3 week long, a quarters which you've already, it's like round of 16 which you've already won, a quarters, a semi, and a final. Come on, man. They're going to feel tired for that, are they? And they're all in Germany as well. That'll feel mint going at that. Nah, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll absolutely be fine. I don't fear anyone in that competition. Doesn't mean we're going to win it. You know, we can definitely fuck it up, but I don't fear anyone. I go into that confident. Could this be a game to play free at the back, considering we're going to be controlling most of the balls, so we'll be able to push up more from there? I like the idea. I don't think we will, though. What do I think about the new fluid front three? How do I think it helps deconstruct teams like Southampton? I don't necessarily expect Southampton to properly just park the bus, to be honest. They're obviously going to play us on the counter. They're obviously going to try and take us when we're all in their half. But I think we'll be okay. Do you think we could lose a game and still make top 4? Yes. I would rather we didn't know, because my arse is going to fall out if we do. What do I think the hardest position to come through is as a youth player? Goalkeeper. There's just no opportunities, is there? Aside from that, centre half, and then maybe centre mid. You get forwards always get an opportunity wide first. Fullbacks can get opportunities. Wingers can get opportunities. Centre mid, centre half, goalkeeper. You very rarely see them coming through as youngsters. They have to get a loan or something. Very hard to come through there. And do I think we can get through these games by playing our strongest 11 for 45 minutes and take them off at half time if we're in control? I think that's what Holly is open to do. And I think we probably could do something along those lines. But you know what? It's going to be a fucking hell of a ride. And we've basically got another couple of weeks and we'll see the conclusion of the domestic season. We could end up with that 3rd place trophy to go alongside the FA Cup trophy. And then we can go make it a treble. I mean, Scousers would call it a treble, wouldn't they? So fuck it, I am. We can go make it a treble by going getting the Europa League as well. That's the one. I think it's going to be mint. I can't wait. It's going to be fucking class. And from where we've been at times this season, who was the game? Was it the Villa game? I think it was the Villa game at home. You just think, fucking hell, we've got Spurs and City coming up. Mourinho and Pep. Fuck me, we're not going to win them. We're not going to win them games. Or we're certainly not going to win both of them games. And from there, 3rd place. I think we did a video called Forget Top 4 following that. I think we definitely did it after Burnley. And you go, from where we were then to where we are now is unbelievable. And I think Ollie needs to be given some fucking credit for that. And of course the players need to be given some credit for that, because some of them have been fantastic. And Bruno's been a hell of a signing. Not a fucking prayer did any of us expect the impact that we've seen from him. Me and McCall did a video at the start of the season. I had United 3rd. I don't know how much I believed it. I had Arsenal in 7th, and they all lost their fucking mind in the comments. Maybe I got it right. One thing I did get wrong in that video, though, I had Sheffield United come in rock bottom in 20th. That was a bad one, wasn't it? No coming back from that. That was just wrong. But cheers for tuning in. Make sure to give the video a like. Make sure to come and tune in with us tomorrow during the watch along. You can support the channel if you want by checking the link in the description for Patreon, and any little advance notice that we get on contracts or transfers goes in there first. And I think we've got a pretty fucking banging track record, as some of the people in the group can definitely attest to. Or you can check out the Stretford Paddock merch as well, because we are going to be fucking having it this season. We're in a league. We've got a fucking good team. And you can follow the journey on that channel as well if you search for Stretford Paddock FC. But for now, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you soon. Laters.